With all the top Zergs getting back in form, the question arises, is Zerg perhaps too strong? Terran perhaps too weak? And how many elephants does a blue whale weigh? All of these questions will be answered in today's episode of StarCraft Today.
StarCraft Today.
Your favorite StarCraft news show. Drama on the horizon as Goblin put out an explosive tweet on Twitter last week saying, 3-0ing Clem in a best of 3. I'm an absolute beast. What seemed like a relatively innocent tweet soon became the topic of the day. Both Denver and Special jumping on Goblin here for a perceived rude and perhaps even bad-mannered tweet. Lilbao agreeing with that. All of these, of course, top-tier pros. Special, one of the best foreign players that we have, always making it far in the GSL. Denver, a solid European. And Lilbao, a former WCS champion as well. Saying that the tweet was a little bit rude and perhaps arrogant. Mainly because Goblin actually didn't win the series 3-0. Of course, that's not even possible in the best of 3. Goblin won 2-1. However, I didn't quite perceive it as rude myself at all. When I see that tweet, I see a 19-year-old kid that is very happy to beat one of the best players in Europe currently. The reason he mentioned it should have been a 3-0 or I won 3-0 was because the second game that he played was pretty much a win as well. He kind of threw that game. And very often when pro gamers talk about games that they threw, they'll pretend like it was, this was a 3-0 series in a best of 3 or a 5-0 series in a best of 5 if you win 3-2, but you threw 2 of the games. This is something that is quite often said in speech. I was very surprised that kind of the outrage that it sparked, especially among pro gamers. Usually I feel like pro gamers have a slightly thicker skin when it comes to these things, and it's the fans of especially the player that is being insulted that jump on this type of tweet. Please leave in the comments down below. We'll also have a poll attached what you think about this. I thought it was a bit overblown, but I spoke with other people and they thought it was absolutely a very rude tweet that should not be endorsed. Moving on to less important news than Twitter, the first results of the DreamHack Masters EU fall have been trickling in. And in the lead are a couple of people we would expect to be there. Group A right now gets topped by Rainer and Showtime. Group B by MaxPax and Skillless. Clem after losing 2-1 to Goblin right now in third position. A position he's not very familiar with, especially not in group stages. Group C topped by Hero Marine followed by E-Laser. These guys haven't played each other yet, so that's definitely going to be a banger. And Group D, of course, topped by Serral. Marine Lord in a solid second place. This week also saw the wrap-up of Oceania, Taiwan and Latin America regions. Once again in Oceania, Probe reigned supreme as he took the third DreamHack Masters in a row. In Latin America, we saw Special go for the 4 times in a row. And in Taiwan, Haas took back his throne as he took out Nice this time. Nice, who won last season, this time wasn't quite strong enough. This week saw the end of GSL Season 2, Dark versus Trap in the finals. After Trap took out Bunny 4-0 in his semifinals, Dark also managed to take out Parting 4-0 in his semifinals. It seemed like both players were in top shape. Sadly for Trap, his top shape wasn't quite good enough for Dark, who showed once again that he is a force to be reckoned with, and perhaps he is the supreme force to be reckoned with at the moment. Extremely dominant performance in the finals, 4-1 victory for Dark, who takes, I believe, his second GSL season ever. Big congratulations to Dark. This week's game of the week can only be one game. Sol versus DNS on Romanticide. This game had it all. Usually on Romanticide, not too much happened. But this time around, oh boy. Extremely exciting game. Multiple base trades. Massive mistakes that completely shift the game in one direction. Only for the other player to make another massive mistake to then shift the game the other direction again. This happening 5-6 times over. In the end, Sol was victorious, but oh my god, what an absolute insane game. Please go watch that. This week's Zoom In is on the Russian player Skillless, who currently is sitting at number 1 in his group B. Skillless recently lost his team, currently teamless, is one of the up-and-coming TOS players that has been showing a lot of progress in the past 2 years, where before he was a player that maybe could have made it into the top 16 or maybe even just barely qualified for a tournament like this. Right now he's one of the guys that is looking to break through in the tier 2 of players. He's looking to get in the top 8, maybe even the top 6 location, and maybe at the end of the year it's even possible for him to qualify for the season finals. Who knows? It's definitely someone to look out for. Right now, 6-0 in his group. Still has a couple of difficult opponents to go. Of course, Clem is still there, but you're already taking out Goblin, Gerald, and Stefano is no small feat whatsoever. Of course, with Clem and MaxPax left, there's still a lot to do, but definitely a player to look out for. This week's EPT Cup were a European party. As in Europe, we saw Hero Marine show a dominating performance, taking out Clem 3-0 in the finals, taking out Lambo 3-0 in the semifinals. Hero Marine seemed to be in top shape. Hero Marine decided, you know what, after I won Europe, I'm playing so well, why don't I just also play North America? And so he did. Went all the way to the finals, but there another European, the Danish MaxPax, was waiting for him, and MaxPax took the win, 3-2 against Hero Marine. Meanwhile, in Korea, we saw an absolutely dominating performance out of Zest, taking out Solar in the final 3-0, and Zest 1 week, not as great. Next week, absolutely fantastic. That's the inconsistent Zest for you, but right now he seems to be on top. I'm looking forward to see what happens next week. But yeah. Now it's time for this week's clip of the week. In this week around, we have Lambo making an absolutely fantastically funny error.
So that is the natural next step in TVZ, worrying about the resource. Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh, he meant to drop the changelings and he just detonated like 30 banelings.
Yep,
20, but still.
That's kind of not meant to be the play, guys. That's not a thing.
Absolutely fantastic clip, but oh, poor Lambo. Upcoming week, we have lots more StarCraft action with China and North America also starting. And of course, Europe will be continuing as well with the DreamHack Masters fall. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of StarCraft today. And the answer is 25. Thank you, bye-bye, and don't forget to hit like.